We begin the episode seeing a military leader and his soldiers surrounded by a giant forest, with them moving quietly through the forest during nighttime, until they reach what appears to be a small village. Colonel Mace, I don't mean to question your decision, but weren't we told that this area is considered to be off limits, and that these Vietnamese people are innocent? Revealing that the military leader here is Gideon Mace. Trust me, Private. I am certain I saw someone suspicious come this area. We can't let this nation fall from democracy and America's ways. And we're not going to get sneaked up on if we do this. Now, I told you all the plan already. Let's move out. As we see them go in different directions, we see a soldier going along with Gideon. As they're about to make their pursuit, we see them running, step on a landmine. As Gideon turns around, he sees it happen and tries to run away, but the explosion manages to take the soldier's life and hits Gideon's arm badly. We then cut to Gideon Mace sitting in front of someone called General Goodwin as they speak. Look, Mr. Gideon, you've been a part of the army for a few years now, and I'm just going to tell you bluntly. You're being let go from the army as a whole. Wait, what? You have not only been the fault of many casualties of soldiers, not only have been disobedient to direct orders, but you have recently tried attacking a setup area we deliberately stated for you to not go after. I saw a suspicious Vietnamese. I've served my country for so long. I should not be treated like this. Who's even telling you to call me off? This is ridiculous. The United States government has authorized your removal along with your record. Your replacement, Mr. Tuska, will be here shortly. You have single-handedly caused many American families to be torn apart because of your decisions. And you have been hurting the nation's pride and what it's meant to represent as a whole. So get your crap and get out of here. You're done. We see Mace leave the room, stumbling back and telling him he'll regret this, with the camera focusing in on General Goodwin as someone enters and sits down. We see that someone being Mr. Tuska, who is now the chief of NYP for Hector's Ayala's division, as we see him looking over some paper and look right back up to show that he is right in front of Hector Ayala. So let me get this straight. You actually want a day off? As Hector nods, he left. Look, I know I shouldn't be asking, but Chief Tuska holds up his hand and speaks. Oh, it wasn't because of that. It's because you didn't just call me to say that you were. They share a smile as Hector is more of an awkward one. Kid, you've been coming in on all your days. Hell, I think you even have volunteered and gone on days that you were off. Look, my point is that you got the day off. Hell, you can take the whole week off if you want. You've done good. Hector thanks the chief as we see him put the paper with Hector's information into a file and locks it up. We see Hector enter the apartment and hearing the shower being on. Ava, you feeling better? Yeah, the shower is helping me cool off from whatever the hell I got hit with before from Chemistro. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I'm sure you'd be happy that I got this whole week off for us to train you up. Really? As we get a montage of the two practicing their martial arts on one another, we see Hector teaching her which martial arts moves should be used in certain scenarios, teaching her ways to better dodge, as well as her showing him that unlike him, she has claws which they practice using and seeing how effective they can be on certain materials. Finally, her camouflage ability, which is hard to activate, with that only succeeding with Hector trying to sneak up on her as she's eating pizza and watching TV, surprising them both when it activates as they share a laugh. That night, we see Hector knocked out as Ava puts him back, thanks him for helping her, and goes to bed. Meanwhile that night, though, we see Gideon Mace fighting other Black Hand members, brutally beating them even without his mace, as Chemistro comes in. Sir, it's nighttime. We need their members for tomorrow, for the distraction, and for me and Mr. Fish to deal with the true purpose. Oh, please. It was fine. I know what I'm doing. You shouldn't question my decisions, especially when I'm the one that got you out of that job that undermined you. I understand, sir, but I must know why beat these men like this. Are you already not the best of us? I am the best because I made you all who you have become. That doesn't mean I watch over every little thing you do like a mommy. But you still deserve punishments or need to be taught lessons. The hardest decisions need to be acted on, regardless of the consequences. I always knew that. The U.S. didn't, and neither did any of you all. Besides you, Private. Gideon would yell at his members to get up and that they are dismissed, with them limping away and in pain. Do you remember what I told you about guns, Curtis? Why I don't use guns at all? You said that after the war, you saw them as below you, sir. They reminded you about bloodshed being spilled, that they killed the enemy too easily, and have given the enemy possibilities to stop us with a single lucky shot. Right you are. Our enemies defy us for our greatness, defy our decisions we make to better our future. I let you all use your guns simply because I need my plans to be done with by any means necessary. But once it's all over, we shall rid of those weapons. Besides your creations, of course. I'm sorry, sir. Curtis, you have a great intellect, and yet those constantly above you have belittled you constantly. After all, your work on the alchemy gun truly is one of modern technology's greatest achievements. But where did your superiors see in that? What did they try to do with your device? They told each other that they would claim it to have been made from them, right in front of me, all in their attempt to gain profit and sell to the government. Then you tried arguing with them that you should have credit and that it's only meant to help the public. How did they respond to that, though? By firing me. By firing you! Then you destroyed the blueprints of the weapon so that the company doesn't get it, and went after your superiors to gain justice. But that self-righteous power man stopped you and got you locked up, destroying your weapon in the process, making it malfunction and firing at your leg, crippling you. I haven't even been able to replicate it since. Just prototypes and physical replicas. You got beaten up, constantly in prison, and when leaving, who was there who had bailed you out and greeted you, gave you another chance? You did, sir, because one of the cops was in cahoots with you and informed you about me. I saw you and gave you the opportunity to fix yourself. Decided that you will work for me to help both of us. We've been ridiculed for our choices, with those not understanding our intelligence, forcing us to suffer under them. That is what is wrong, and we will make them and those underlings of theirs suffer instead. Of course, sir. That is your overall goal, after all. So why doubt me then, Curtis? Have I not helped you after everyone's basically left you to rot? You have, sir. I simply just wish to be more informed, to have plans within your own to combat any heroes or mistakes the others may make. Gideon looks pissed by that statement, but continues. I cannot blame you for wanting more information. I was pushed aside and lacked information that cost me the fault of the U.S. So I will let you know. After being informed about a mysterious new daredevil, along with Power Man and Power Woman, or Jewel, or whatever the hell her name is, those guys are still around, along with White Tiger. So I have 3 teams, and listen here. With Gideon speaking of his plan, as the audio is disoriented, we cut to the next day with Ava out getting some snacks from a store as she's texting Hector, talking about her not staying out too long since they gotta cook dinner later tonight, seeing that it's already 6 p.m. As Ava makes her purchase and leaves, we see police cars zoom by as Ava decides to head behind a dumpster in an alleyway and transform into the White Tiger, leaping from roof to roof until she arrives on the scene. There is a standoff between some Black Hand members and cops taking place, with some members in cars and others on a bus they took over, stealing and harassing the people inside, as shots are being traded. As Ava is about to rush in, she's shot on the shoulder and ankles, falling for a bit, using her lessons to dodge from the other shots from the shadows and grabs onto one of the fire escapes, with her managing to have been able to camouflage and holding her breath. As hidden Black Hand members emerge with maces, knives, and even axes, and even some shotguns, with her sheathing her claws and with swiftness engages in the battle, slicing all the shotguns first and dodging to her best abilities as her camouflage ends. I need to save the people. Hopefully Hector's alright, Ava would think to herself, slashing at her opponent. But she couldn't have been any more wrong, as we cut to the outside of a police station where Black Hand members outside burst in and shooting the place up. Some of the cops try to fight back, but Mr. Fish's brute strength simply proves them wrong. Him and the rest of the Black Hand would then put on gas-proof mask as Chemistro enters, gassing the place up with fear gas, and begins looking through files along with others. Hector, meanwhile, was in the bathroom during this, hearing the shots, as he quickly exits and hides behind desk before he reaches the armory. Once he does, though, he is greeted by 3 Black Hand members having maces, searching the area. They start the fight, swinging their maces at him, but Hector's skill and sheer power is able to best the 3 members easily, stunning them as they were disarmed, and knocking them out as he grabs 2 pistols and a shotgun. As he gets himself armed, we see the aftermath of White Tiger's battle, with a bit of her outfit ripped and her bleeding, but she came out victorious as she climbs back to the top of the roof. Trusting herself, she leaps down on 2 Black Hand members guarding the bus exit, and she tells the people on the bus that everything's going to be okay. This is where we see both Hector and White Tiger battling against Black Hand members, with White Tiger's agility and strength, along with Hector's aim and stealth assist, help them in the battle against them, where we see Hector shoot down members and rally the other cops to help them, as we see White Tiger is basically bouncing around against the Black Hand members, knocking many and battling against them. Even when White Tiger is overwhelmed and Mr. Fish breaks Hector's shotgun and slams him into the ground, they are given help by those they are saving, with the people on the bus having fled and the people getting random objects to hit against the Black Hand members, distracting them. As with Hector, he's thrown through a window, but the cops from outside and inside start firing at Mr. Fish, with him throwing many punches and kicks. As Hector gets up to go get some help, he goes on his phone to text Ava to come to him and help them out. With White Tiger, we see that she finishes off the last guy who ran away with a slash on his face, knocking him out. But she sees the blood in her hand as her hand shakes, and the powerful voice is heard, whispering many thoughts and ideas to her. But a ding catches her attention, and even though the voice gets more loud, she reads Hector's messages and rushes to his location. During all the conflict, Chemistro manages to hack into a computer with files on many hundreds of criminals, but he also manages to get files on some cop members. He downloads a few corrupt cops and others they can blackmail, but he finds 2 that catch his eye. First is Chief Tusko's file, as he tries hacking into it. Looking at other files though, one catches his notice, labeled H. Ayala. Chemistro, we need to go, now. Chemistro would try finishing the downloads to everything he could, before he's shot at by others, with Mr. Fish picking him up and charging through a wall, breaking through with them fleeing to the outside of the bunker. Get all of it transferred, we need to... As Mr. Fish turns to see a bruised and bloody White Tiger, claws out, on top of a knocked out Chemistro, panting from exhaustion. Look, you're already weak and bleeding out badly. I will kill you if you decide to attack me. Give up and go home. White Tiger stands, with her claws not unsheathing, says, "You don't decide my fate. You can't even make your own decisions without being pushed to your limit. I can tell you get orders from people. You've always been pushed around, haven't you? I don't care about that. But I will decide this is for both of us. One of us will be fine after this fight is over." This begins their biggest fight yet, with both of them using their skills to their best ability, with both having one disadvantage. For White Tiger, she still can't camouflage, and when hiding to catch a breath or jump Mr. Fish, it pretty much always backfires. But with Mr. Fish, he has no water by him, which doesn't allow him to heal or get surprises on her either. However, during their brawl, Mr. Fish is showcasing that her words actually have affected him, showcasing that whatever is currently fueling him in this battle, his anger, although it does help him hit her badly at moments, it still isn't enough and causes mistakes on his part, giving her more chances to hurt him. Once they finish their battle, it's basically in a draw, with Ava choking on blood, leaning to a wall, and Mr. Fish guarding Chemistro, as he hears in his earpiece a voice. "Muty, you and Chemistro haven't arrived to either El Tigre or our warehouse because of your idiocy and lateness. El Tigre is making some trades with other gangs without you. We're going to deal with them before they notice. So, because of your unacceptable timing, head to our warehouse. And if you're not reported to be there in the next 15 minutes, I'll be serving you cervache and have the entirety of the Black Hand pummel you to make them feel better. That is an order you'll regret not following if you don't get here soon." Mr. Fish is silent, clenching his fist as White Tiger stops leaning and is ready for round 2. But Mr. Fish backs up, picks up Chemistro as they run away, with White Tiger ready to run after as they cough out an insane amount of blood, falling down and using the amulet to heal her wound. A warehouse has to be abandoned, but there's so many. It's hate right now. Hopefully I can stop them. As she continues to heal herself, we see Hector arrive to her location, shocked and worried for her at her current situation. She explains to him that she's actually better than what it looks like, and that she was able to save some people, even stopping many Black Hand members on the scene, and that she was able to catch up to Mr. Fish and was able to knock out Chemistro, but that they still managed to get away. And now they're heading to some sort of warehouse they own. I don't know where that could be. It'll be hard to track down. Not unless you've been tracking them down for as long as I have. And you both weren't all too easy to track down too, Ayalas. Hector immediately draws his gun on the person as the shadow approaches them. Let us not give history a sense of irony, Hector. After all, my family was responsible for you becoming the White Tiger, starting your heroism after all. Who are you? As the man steps out of the shadow, it's shown they're played by Steve O'Mark as he reveals himself. My alias is Blackbird. My brother died right in front of you many years ago, and my godfather, James D'Angelo, helped you during your war against the Black Hand. Their boss has caused enough suffering, so how about we put a stop to him and finally let our family rest in peace? As the episode ends, with Hector dropping his gun, stunned, as Ava gasps for air and the amulet's healing noises are all that fill the silence between the new alliance.